the producer comes into my hotel room totally upset and goes, "You sold me out." He says, "You sold us out. You gave all your drawings." And I said, "No." And he flipped on Fox News, and there they were. So somebody sold us out that was involved with us and gave my drawings away and stuff. It was amazing. Yeah, it's amazing. You got to know who you keep ties with and what have you. Just a bad move on our part to let everybody have all this stuff. And, looking back at Natalie Holloway again, I was at Rogers Daytime Live TV out of Toronto. And this is my second interview with them. They brought up Natalie Holloway a little bit near the end of the first interview. I was doing a benefit for Make-A-Wish Foundation down in that area and for sick children. So I went on there to talk about it and some other things, and Natalie Holloway came up. And then they brought me back on a later date, and the host asked me, what do you think of Vandersloot and what have you? And I said to him right there, and I said, you know what? He's going to murder her again, and he's going to do it real soon. And sure enough, it was about 2 weeks after that taping of that show that Vandersloot murdered that girl in Peru. It's just, how it comes in and the information gets sent out, and it's through asking. So I realized through my course of my life, when people ask, I'm able to go out and help them. And if I go out and try to run out, it's, to me, and honestly, I look at it this way. If I run out to somebody and do it, is that ego? Is that, displacement? I'm not discerning the energy properly. So I won't do it. Victoria Stafford, beautiful young girl, goes missing. 2 days before she went missing, I've seen exactly where she went, what happened. And I'm explaining to my wife, who's sitting there, and my children are sitting on the floor. And I said, there's a little girl going to go missing. Well, girl, she's going into the woods. Big, huge pile of rocks right there. And I'm explaining. So I start drawing. So I put the drawings away because I know what's going to happen. 2 days later in the news, 8-year-old little blue, beautiful blonde girl goes missing. They don't know where she is. So I go down and I contacted the family. I did this the second time. I contacted the family. I talked to Rebecca, who is the spokesman for the family. Got to meet the father and everybody down there, and I've met them many times and been in their homes, the grandma and what have you. And, I offered my drawings up to them. I gave everything to them. Went to Detective Brown inside the police station, and I said, I've been on film, and I know how film works, and all they had was a grainy visual of a lady leading Victoria away from the school. And I said, we really got to kind of highlight that area. So they put a bubble around the people walking. And I highlighted a little bit, but really didn't emphasize on seeing the details of the person. So, a lot of people don't know this, but I was the person they planted in the mother's house. They brought me over there and they said my name was John. She was really, curious. The mother never left the house. Never looked for her daughter once. Never did anything at all, and was going on a show. That's all, it was crazy how this was all stemming from. So I profiled the woman, and I said, there's a man you're looking as well. And they said, no, it's just a woman. I said, no, it's a man involved. And it's older than her, and his characteristics and what have you. Sure enough, the man was arrested, the dog, and the man. And where Victoria's body was the tree line on a big, huge pile of rocks. And I wrote rules. They understand why I was there. And then they rocks. And, it's amazing what she was showing me prior to her going missing, or spirit was. And, I look at that and I'm thinking, okay, do I assert myself, or, do I wait? But this is this is the only second really case I really asserted myself in doing so. I find it much better if people come to me. And when I say they do, they do. From Ireland, from England, from Australia, from America, Canada. They come from all over. And like I said just today, I got that letter that of a beautiful 19-year-old lady I don't even know, and the horrid things I read in that letter, that she was set on fire, and this is in Tennessee, and she died when she was 19. Apparently it was on the news, they said. It was a big case down there. And so, there's a backlog of many, many beautiful people and families. And I never say no, and I try to get to everybody I can. And that's the reason why I brought Psychic Profilers forward, is that if I can't do it alone, and I used to take money out of my own pocket to fly to these places and travel all through the States, I couldn't do it. I nearly been bankrupt from doing all that myself, and I've never accepted a dime, and I'll never take a reward. And people have offered money, I won't take it, because you just don't take money from people. You just don't do that. And so I'm glad that these beautiful guys in Lamport and Shepherd come forward. A lot of people are putting it together, and if it comes forward, then I can help many, many, many families, and it won't cost nothing, and that's the only thing that costs is time.
Absolutely. I think that's wonderful quality. Can I ask you a question? Is it difficult to work with the police at times, or is it easy?
Difficult? Sometimes it's difficult, but you know what? Brothers in Blue, all those beautiful people who really, I look down and say, they're not doing it, but they really are, and they're really struggling to help families. They're busy, and they get a lot of, and I'm going to be honest, quacks, and call in and say, I'm psychic, I know where this person is, and they're not, and it's hard. I don't know what to say about that, and it's the truth. I only speak the truth, and I've seen it where I've been in office where they go, look at this one, and they throw it in the garbage, and it's amazing. One good friend of mine, he helps out in the Doe Network, and he lives in Boston, and it's painstaking to talk about cases where children and everything are involved, and it was his brother's daughter, and so he asked me would I help, of course. And so I drew my drawings, information, and he doesn't give me no information. Tommy's like, he's straightforward. If you don't know it, then you're not doing it right, and you're not psychic, whatever. And so I gave him all the information. I didn't give it to Tommy. I gave it to the detective. He said, I want you to do what you do, and I want you to fax it to the detective, and that way there it's real. So I did. And the detective, I called him up first, and I said, I'm going to send this to you, Detective Morissette. And he goes, okay, and he's in and on, and he's a busy man, and whatever. So I sent it to him. No later than 5 minutes later, he calls me back on my phone, and he goes, listen, did you talk to anybody? Did you tell them? Did they give you information on this? And I didn't. I just drew it all up like it was supposed to be. They had the man in jail. They had a guy there already in jail.
Wow.
It's amazing the way spirit moves. And, they're not difficult. I would use a better choice word of saying that they're very busy, loving individuals who take and want to help families. And sometimes their hands get tied, and they need that little piece of information and, our little lead that gets them to that next step that they can actually go ahead and finish their case and solve their case. I just look at it as we're tools.
Absolutely. We are. We're all tools. We're all, messengers of God in some way. You know what I mean? We all have a certain gift that we give to this world, and you're a beautiful gift, Robbie. Can you believe we're out of time already? An hour went by quick.
It did.
It really did. I could talk to you for another hour. It was such an honor to have you on the show, and I am so excited. And can you just let everybody know where they can get your book? Is it Amazon?
You can get my book on Amazon worldwide, or you can go to your local bookstore, and you can have them to order it in if they don't have it in Indigo Chapter bookstores in Canada, Barnes & Noble, Books A Million. Yeah, you can get them anywhere.
And you can also check out www.robbiethomas.net. That is your website, correct?
And that's correct, yes.
All right. And, hey, will you join me again sometime in the very near future? You were an absolute pleasure to have this evening.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And I thank you so much for having me.
Absolutely. Anytime. And God bless you. Thank you for all that you do for all of us.
No, thank you,
and everyone out
thank
there.
You very much.
All right, folks. It's about that time. Big round of applause to my wonderful guest tonight, Robbie Thomas. It was a wonderful show. I hope everyone out there has a wonderful weekend. Stay safe, and we will do it all again next week. Light and love to everyone. Good night. Good night, Robbie.
Good night now.